Hello!
Hello, AOS fans!
It's the Agents of Sigmar.
And today we're having a look at Deadzone.
Deadzone. It's the lovely people at Mantic have sent us this lovely copy of Deadzone for us to review and unbox and play with, and we're going to do all of those things.
Yes, today we're having a little look inside in the box, and then we're going to go away, build it all, and then hopefully play some games. We've already recently played a Mantic game. We played Overdrive. Which was very much fun, so we're looking forward to this. I've heard only good things about Deadzone.
Yep.
It's often compared to Kill Team because it is, as it says on the back of the box, a science fiction skirmish game, which pretty much is what Kill Team is.
Yep.
So it is a direct comparison, and that's pretty much what we'll be doing on the channel. As you know, we have reservations about Kill Team, so we're going to be looking at this and comparing it and contrasting it, and maybe play a couple of games of Kill Team as well, and seeing which we prefer.
Yeah. Now, as always, we're going to go through the box contents, but we'll just read you out what's on the back of the box to start with. It does say this starter set contains everything you need to play Deadzone.
This is the third edition of Deadzone. It doesn't actually say that anywhere, but it is the third edition of Deadzone.
But I guess if we're going to start comparing it to other copies of other competitors' games, nobody tends to put what version of the game it is on there. But this is the latest version of Deadzone, which very cool indeed. So in this you get rules and force list books. You can see on the back there's the pictures, you can see there's multiple books in there. You get a gaming mat, you get 11 brave GCPS soldiers, and 13 sneaky vermin warriors.
So they've kind of taken Skaven, if I may use the GW word, and made them spacey.
Ratmen, basically space ratmen.
Space ratmen. And why not, frankly?
Yeah, why not? I mean, it's cool. You then get counters, command dice, 8-sided dice, and a modular battlefield scenery set.
Yes.
So let's get this box open.
Yes, let's us. Now I'm waiting to see whether there's a cardboard box in here because Overdrive had a cardboard box inside the sleeve.
Yeah, it's got a little sleeve here to go on top.
I think it has.
Ooh, never has something been so excitingly waited for. It's a cardboard box.
Wow.
I think I quite like this because it's just a bit more. Just a bit more generic when you take the boxing out, and this feels like you could use this much more around the house for stuff if you weren't going to use it to store the game.
Yes, my only reservation is that once you put it on the shelf, it's a bit of a pain to put in and out of that, and that serves no useful purpose. But having it in a nice sturdy cardboard box is a good thing.
We have put it upside down.
There we go.
So there you go. Yeah. There you go, Mantic. You need a thing for idiots to say top and bottom of the box. So here we go. Here are some bases already.
Exciting.
I remember buying a ton of these from Mantic once because I have some Mantic zombies from many moons ago when we used to play Age of Sigmar.
Wow.
So there we go. It's just a whole swathe.
It's just bags and bags of plastic.
Bags and bags of bags.
So that's it. Bags of plastic. There we go. Whee! No, so this is the modular scenery. So the scenery, I believe, is all modular, fits together in the cubes because the game works. I don't know if I know a little bit about the game. It works around in
you have
cubes.
Squares or cubes of
people
battlefield.
can be in, and so you can build up cubes, and so you can have certain numbers of fighters in a cube at any one time.
And that's the one good thing about this over something like Kill Team, to make the direct comparison, in that Kill Team, most GW's games, you have to measure things, whereas this is like there's no measuring sticks because it's just you move into these different zones, which I quite like actually.
Yeah, me too. So I think there's what looks like.
There's even some MDF. I love MDF bases. I love that. It's just
Pete's going to be just sniffing the MDF bases.
I do like it.
Quite a lot of
probably shouldn't do that. I don't know, but
scenery bits and pieces.
Yeah, there's loads of little squares here, which I assume you
pegs
use
to hold things together.
Yeah, I think they're the pegs to hold things. Now, I won't lie, fills me a little bit of dread. I remember many moons ago on a Christmas Eve when building a kit. It wasn't Lego. It was like, what's that other stuff? Like a bit like Duplo. There was like a Duplo school or something like that for my kids, and all the bits that went together had these little fixing poles, and I spent a good 2.5 to 3 hours of it from like 10 till midnight-ish making this thing for my son when he woke up Christmas Day.
He is worried about the pegs.
I'm worried about
the holes are in here. By the looks of things, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 big bags, 7 biggish bags, and then these look like accessories.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see how that goes. And then we've got some of the models here. They're all in plastic.
They're all plastic, multi-part kits. Heads are separate to torsos, are separate to the arms and the legs and stuff like that.
These are the Vermin Night Creep.
I've got the other one, so shall we? Yeah. So yeah, these are the Vermin ones. They've got all of the ratty tails and stuff like that. But this looks pretty cool. I like this.
Yeah, these are quite like these. They look like I guess they're kind of like people of Starship Troopers.
They do look a bit Starship Troopery, don't they?
Yeah, I think that's how I describe them. And there's some more tails there.
Hey. Now these, I mean, the models here, they look plenty detailed enough. They look pretty nice, modular kits. The arms and the bodies look like they're ball and socket joints. So you've got a little bit more room for movement, for posing and stuff.
They're not monopose.
Yeah. Yeah, unlike
this is
some
a big
people.
thing with a drill.
Oh, that's mine. That's another big giant rat
I
beastie
can't see any
thing.
heads. They're the heads in the separate bags.
They might be.
You have a look.
So this thing has like drills. It's got multiple different arms. So if you really wanted to, you could get some magnets involved here, or you can just make your choice and stick it all together. But there's heads. There's loads of heads here. Look.
Oh, they're heads, are they? Sorry, I'm just blind.
So tons of different options there. Either great big rock drill arms or hands that hold weapons and things like that. There's two bodies, so you get to make two great big gribbly things out of these ones, whatever they are called. I'm not 100% sure, but they look pretty cool.
So in this bubble wrap, there's some special resin. I guess it's a character model for the guard, whatever they're called. And I guess that might be another one. I know in some of these sort of starter sets and things, and sort of early editions, they do bonus resin models of characters and things. They did it with Overdrive. We've got a couple in the Overdrive set.
Oh, yeah. And I've got another bag here with some more resin in.
Is that a resin ogre?
Great big
not ogre,
gribbly
rat.
beastie thing, which I think is the one from this cover here with the great big Edward Scissorhand fingers.
That is pretty cool.
That's quite chunky.
Yeah.
I won't lie, resin again kind of fills me with dread.
I was a bit worried when we got the resin, when I opened the resin for Overdrive, because I don't really like resin kits. But actually, you didn't need to use the resin bits. Obviously, it looks like a bit more like you will need to use them.
You're definitely going to need to use it for this because, yeah, you're going to have to put these together. These ones are definitely going to need super glue to fit those together. But that's pretty cool, a nice big chunky model there.
Resin, slight reservation, but we'll see how it goes to put together.
It mildly terrifies me, that.
Report back. We've got a whole load of counters here.
Got a whole bag of D8s.
A big bag of D8s.
D8s. And there's also, there's a bag of D6 with proprietary symbols in. It's not just your 1 to 6.
I guess they're the command dice.
They might be, yes, there's like explosions and what looks like a D8 on one of them and some bullets or some arrows and various splodge. So it'd be interested to see what those do. So
there's a getting started sheet here, which tells you how to assemble the models. It does have the vermin hero assembly instructions. Oh, okay. And the vermin nightmares and the vermin crawlers, stalkers and malignus. I've got a hero here. This must be this one is the hero, I think. Yes.
Does it say what it's called?
The GCPS hero. Mine are GCPS troopers, GCPS rangers, and GPS hero. GPS. Where's the hero? It's over there.
Lost him again. Oh,
Bear left. And then we can use the things we're setting up your first game, which is like a marine with a flamethrower and a malignus with a heavy ray gun. So they look pretty funky.
And then in the bottom here as well, there is, we can do away with this box now. Cast the box aside. There's also a mat, a playing mat here, which if we unfold it, it looks like to be around about a 3 foot sort of area, maybe a little less, maybe just over 2 foot. On the back of it actually, there's quite a funky little, oh, this is good. It's got all your stats on here. With your Corporation Marines and your Stalkers, so let's just turn
So is that for the starter game?
I think this is for your starter game, yeah.
So for why that's pretty cool. I like that.
So this has got set up here, and I think the starter game you've got a little layout set of instructions on there, which I think pretty much matches up with this once you get it in the right orientation.
It tells you where to put the fighters.
Yeah, and it shows you where to put the terrain because there's all the blocks and stuff like that. I really like that.
That is really clever.
And it's got all your stats here as well, so you can see, you don't have to have cards to hand or anything. You can just, it's got all the scenario setup information, killing an enemy model, all the stats for your fighters. Oh, I like that.
That's a really neat idea because playing these games, getting them to the table for the first time is often the hardest bit.
They can be very daunting, can't they? When you're like, oh, how do we set this up? This just takes all of that out. You've even got the little coloured sections as to what goes
really
where.
Nice. That's really nice. I don't know how often you could use this. I don't know whether it's got further scenarios you can use to kind of build it up a little bit, or whether it is just the one. But that's really clever. It's a shame though when you come to play that you have to turn it over and not be able to see it.
Yeah, so
it's a bit of a shame.
Your regular
but you can't really take it away from the fact that it exists in the first place.
No, that is still good. Yeah. This is probably just around a 2 foot square board.
Yeah, it doesn't look that big, which I also like because small is good.
Yeah.
That's really nice because if this is the standard play size, which I assume it is, because it's in the box.
Yeah.
It's really nice to fit on this table without getting
Yeah, you've got room around to put some
yeah.
of your character information or your models or anything like that.
That's cool.
And of course, everything is marked out with these squares because everything works in this.
Yeah, and then you put the scenery on, so there's a cube, and then you might have two tier. I think that's 2 cubes on top of each other, but they're separate cubes for the game, which I really like. And this is great. Actually, it is smaller than I thought, which is really nice. I can definitely see that if I got into this game, I would have to get a neoprene.
Yes.
With the square mat.
Yeah, really would have to do that.
And I don't know what it's like for people who are experienced. I don't know what it'd be like trying to build a board, because you'd almost have to use a specialist game because it's got the squares maxed out. Otherwise, you'd have to mark your own squares on it, which would be a bit of
that would be a bit painful. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's 8 squares by 8 squares. You could possibly come up with a load of 4 square modular sections,
things.
And then you could have different sections of terrain, 3D. You know,
out Lego.
Yeah. But this, I like this. I like having this mat here. Yeah. It means that you haven't got to, with so many games, tabletop games, you have to have a board, and then there's that immediate sort of hurdle straight away of having a board the right size, having something that looks okay as well. I mean, for years when I was a kid, I used to play on just a bare tabletop with a few toilet rolls to be trees or whatever, and it was just kind of destroyed the atmosphere a little. Whereas this,
straight away, I mean, that is the advantage of having plastic scenery and stuff as well.
Yeah,
it's so much easier now. But straight away, you can play a good game. And I really like how compact it is. I'm slightly gobsmacked about how compact it is. I was expecting it to be at least half as big again, I think.
Yeah, I think I always expect it to be bigger, and I wonder if that's because a lot of game providers think that bigger is better, and actually it doesn't matter as long as your scale fits what you're playing on. It doesn't matter if your surface area is 2 foot square or whether it's 8 foot by 4 foot or whatever in the oldie days of Warhammer and things like that. You know, this works.
So I'm suddenly even more excited to play this game than I was. So
yeah.
I thought about that. I quickly whipped out the books, but I'll bring them back now. So we've got a rule book, that's not the rule book. I've kept the rule book. So we've got a rule book here, which I guess has more in depth for how to play the game beyond the starter thing. There's I can quickly see there's 14 different scenarios. I tell a lie. There's 16 different scenarios to play, and various bits and pieces. Items, and I'm obviously not just going to sit here and read through. There's loads of keywords. There's keywords in the book, Pete.
Oh, good.
There's also partial cubes and cubes. There's some additional rules. So I guess you play with the basic rules first and then add in the additional rules. Overall, it is 88 pages, which is quite big, but that's not too daunting. And there is campaign rules, which is really nice. A little map of the sector. So although it's 88 pages, it's not all rules. There's actually quite a lot of background, I've just realised, in the game. So that's quite nice. And it looks pretty compact. The rules look pretty easy. I've heard loads of really good things about this. That it's really quick and easy to pick up. So I'm hoping that's the case. And what have you got, Pete?
I've got the force lists. So this is basically it says force lists, skirmishes on Forsaken Worlds. So this gives you all of the different basically army lists, or as I say, force lists to build your forces, and gives you all the stats for them for everything.
Wow.
You've got information on building a strike team, choosing your units, and then you've got all the different factions. You've got the Asterians, the Enforcers, the Forge Fathers, GCPS, Marauders, Mason Labs, Nameless, the Plague, Rebs, and the Vermine. So there's quite a lot in there, and when you flick through the book, there are obvious sort of inspirations have been taken from certain other things, although I should not mention specifically what, but there's lots of different things in there that you can see have come from elsewhere.
They look like old people.
Yeah, they all look like old, people who are older than you and how you might refer to them as a group. But you've got your Asterians there, and it goes through all the different bits. Like you've got like living legends.
Asterians, you see, that's why they're old people. They just can't get out the Asterians.
You get your troops and your specialists, your support options, your living legends as they call them, and all the points and your limits and things, and then a nice little spread of all the models, or at least a large chunk of the models, all painted up very nicely, showing off, as all these companies like to do. Look at what you could have. Look at all the shinies.
Enforcers.
It's enforcers.
Are they like the police?
They are a bit like the police. So they're very similar to the GCPS as well, I think. And We can go through. You've then got the Forge Fathers, which are basically space dwarves.
I'm going to say the Forge Fathers, they sound dwarfish.
They're very dwarfish. They're possibly not as dwarfish as you could get, although there is a massive like robot.
That's very like the robot in we just played in Overdrive. It's incredibly like
it. Does look very much like the Overdrive robots. There's obviously some things. There's a bloke there with a Mastiff.
Isn't there? I think that's Dreadball.
Could be Dreadball.
There's a connection. But maybe it might all be in the same universe.
You've got GCPS, which are then your army sort of guys. Yeah. That's pretty cool. They've got like a big exoskeleton suity thing there. You've got your Marauders. They basically look like your standard orc type thing.
Got green skin.
They've got green skin, big jutting jaws, and pointy teeth.
So I guess if you had from an existing miniature range from perhaps a different company, you could just pick this up and then play.
You probably very much could.
Very easily, which is quite cool.
You've got the Maison Labs, which are, they're kind of like, they do look like they're people who work in a laboratory, but then they've got these aberration-y things and this great big support thing as well, which is quite cool. And down there,
there's a
big spider robot thing, which looks very much like, and a big squiddly diddly, very much like Overdrive there.
Yeah. So they're obviously easy. I'm not really into it either.
There's even a picture of of the spawn there.
Yeah, the nameless ones.
And then you've got the Nameless, which are these big, weird, gribbly things. I mean, I quite like them.
Yeah.
They definitely be one of my choices.
A touch of HR Gargo inspired aliens.
And then you've got these ones, which I think are also like the Plague, which are like, they're like soldiers
zombies
that have become all kind of big. There's another aberration, we saw another one as well, so obviously more than one person can have similar things. And then very last, there's Rebs. Well, not very last actually, there's the Rebs, which are second to last.
The Rebs.
And they're like, I thought they would appeal to you quite a bit because they're all like different types of fighters and different races and things like that. So there's no two that are very particularly the same. I know you always like painting a hodgepodge of troops. And then the very last one is obviously the Veermen, which are the rat, space scave and the space rat thing peoples. I won't use Skaven very much. I'm very sorry for saying Skaven.
Oh, it's all right. I mean, they quite clearly have borrowed their theme. I mean,
everyone borrows off everyone else, don't they?
You can't pretend that they haven't.
No.
So I think that's fine. So I'm actually quite excited how compact it is. I'm excited that we can use, if we had models from a different game, we can use them.
Yeah.
Although there's nothing terribly, massively, like Super Warrior.
No.
Type thing. But you know, any for example, you probably could use the Death Core of Kree for something.
Yeah.
If you wanted to. So that's really nice. I mean, although it is obviously really nice to support all businesses, and it'd be lovely to have all the models for all the things painted. It is nice that you don't have to do that all the time.
Yeah, and we did miss as well. There is a little sheet of tokens in here, but thankfully
I did mention it actually.
Oh, did you? I'm very sorry. There's only one sheet though, not many, which is a good sign.
Yeah.
It means you're not going to be spending hours sifting through mountains of tokens.
No, so for I'm sort of 2 or 3 good things. I can only think of really 2 things that really stand out for me. Is that I love that the board is very compact.
It's a big plus.
And I love that you get army lists for 8 different armies, and you haven't got to go out and buy masses and masses of other books. And refer to other rules, and you haven't, I don't know whether they do expansions, sort of more specific expansions for each faction, but it's great that you basically can just play with whatever models you've got and say these are going to be vermin, or these are going to be well, you get the vermin in the box, but these are going to be whatever, and that's really nice. So I'm really looking forward to getting our teeth into it. I think we're going to play a practice game, and then we're going to record one and let you know how we found it, and hopefully we love it.
Yeah, I mean, the models look quite nice. There's certainly nothing too daunting in the putting together of these. They don't appear... They're certainly not the most complex.
Give it time,
fit.
I will screw it up.
Yeah, yeah. But there's nothing here that makes you go, oh my God, how am I going to stick this together?
Give it time, I will screw it up.
The resin worries me a little, but obviously it's an extra special character model. You don't necessarily need it, but at the same time,
I guess you don't need it for your first game, certainly. But yes, I think for beginners, it's a shame there's mixed media models. Because if this is just polystyrene cement, that's fine. But sticking this together is going to be super glue. It's going to be trickier. This is it's going to need more cleaning up and stuff like that. So it's a slight negative, but it's not the worst thing. But there is a bit missing off of that one as well. But looks that might just be the.
Oh, it might just be because he only has 2 arms.
Yeah.
Who knows? Or it might still be in the bag, which it is. There we go.
It's still in the bag. It wasn't missing. It was
quite
still
an
in the
important one because it's the one that he's holding the double-barreled shotgun with.
I don't need that.
We'll keep that
Don't
one.
need that.
So that's
Just
the only.
Just a large piece of cheese is all that's needed, surely, to put the firm in.
That's the only negative I can come up with. Is the resin. That's
Resin,
it.
yeah. I think so.
Everything else looks really promising.
Yeah.
I like you. I really like the fact they give you a mat and then it's not a huge mat. I especially love the fact you turn it over and you've got a little mini board area that's all marked out.
Really clever.
And it's got all of the stats on it straight away, so you
that
don't
should
even
make
need
it
to.
easier. I mean, I guess should we record the tester game?
I think. Well, let us know in the comments below. Would you
yeah.
like to see us play that tester game if you've never got into it before to show you exactly how that goes, or would you rather see us practice a bit more with it and then jump into a full game with the forces in the box?
So yeah, either we could do the practice game, well, obviously we'll play a practice game without recording it, but we could then record the actual practice starter set game, or we could just get ourselves familiar with the rules and then play a full game. Which would you rather see, a starter set game or a full game for your first Agents of Sigmar Mantic experience? Oh, we're going to have a Mantic experience again, Pete.
Oh, a lovely romantic experience.
Yes. When you get to our time of life, you don't get those very often.
Not very often. You have to take them where you can.
Yeah.
So, but overall, first impressions of the box, I am very excited by this.
I'm excited.
Oh, that's very excited. We're very excited for our Mantic experience.
Yes.
And like you, I really like the force list, so you know that you get it. You've got 8 different army choices.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know 100%. I'm assuming, because this is the 3rd iteration of the rules, that all of the armies that are in this book are already available.
Yeah.
So you can just go on their website and you can flick through a book, go, I actually quite like the look of the Rebs or the Plague or the Marauders or whatever like that, and you can just go on their website and then just buy a couple of the sets straight away. So you've not got to wait like GW do. You've got to buy another book, and then that book probably goes. I mean, in some cases they release books which then were completely out of date 3 months later because they released a new version of the game and things like that. It's just all in here.
Yeah, I really like that. I think it's getting back to what a game should be, really.
Yeah.
Obviously, you haven't got everything to play it, but like we've seen with our Bladeborn and Fireteam games, the ability to have like a core set that you've got and you can play out the box is great, but then the ability to add things in that you might already own and play, I think you can't underestimate actually what value that brings to a game. Because you can very quickly get more value for money out of your game without having to invest more on what you've already invested in your hobby. And I don't think you can really sort of overstate how good that is. Yeah.
Now, obviously, if you like a company and the products they're doing, support them, definitely, because or else you can't then complain if they just stop supporting things. One thing I'd like to see, and I don't know if they do it, and I wouldn't expect it in the starter box, but as another thing I'd like to see them do, is like stat cards for things, because I hate having to flick through books when I'm in the middle of playing a game.
That's true. I can see in my future that this is going to get sliced off and put through Pete's laminator.
Yes, yep. 'Cause we do have one.
I don't mean a laminator, do I? But
no, you mean the
spiral binder.
Spiral binder.
I could totally see that. In fact, I'm probably not even going to get these at the end of this video. They'll disappear.
Yeah. So you get lots and lots of plastic in the box here. Enough, I think, for what you're paying, because the box is how much, Robert?
Well, it's RRP is £90. You can get it from like resellers like Will and Games, one of our favoured game stockists. Hello, Aaron. And it's £70 from there, or £70.20 from there. And I noticed while I was having a quick look at the price on Will, that they have listed all of the different
armies and stuff like that as well.
It looks like you can buy other factions, which I guess makes sense since they've advertised them in their book and you can use them. So
yeah. So really looking forward to playing this one. The only kind of downside for me, and it's not specific to this game, but it's just in general, is when you get something like I want to play it right now, and now I've got to go and stick all this stuff together and assemble it all.
That's kind of everything though.
Yeah.
Kind of, if you want to play a skirmish game, it's very rare.
Yeah, it's very rare to just open a box and play stuff. Yeah, I appreciate that. So that's not a negative on this game. It's just my general, impatience.
Just want to get going. Just wants to get going. Yeah, fair enough. So we're going to go away, paint all this up badly, and get back for some games. Yeah, so do like, subscribe, ring that bell, because you won't see any of our videos in the future if you don't ring the bell. Do give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed the game, and do let us know in the comments below what you're enjoying about Deadzone if you are playing it, or if you're not playing it, what you'd like to find out about. And do let us know what kind of game you'd like to see us record, a starter game or just all of the forces together or anything like that. Yes, and then we'll play and report back. Yeah. So we'll see you soon, maybe in the Deadzone.